Marie Curie, born Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw, Poland, on November 7, 1867, was a pioneering scientist in the field of radioactivity whose discoveries transformed not only physics and chemistry but also medicine and industry. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and the first person in history to receive it in two different disciplines, physics and chemistry. From a young age, she displayed exceptional talent for science but had to overcome numerous obstacles as a woman in a society that restricted educational and professional opportunities for her gender. Her legacy goes beyond her scientific discoveries, breaking gender barriers and setting a precedent for future generations. Below is a detailed and expanded account of 20 fascinating facts about her life and achievements. 1. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Marie Curie broke one of the biggest gender barriers of her time by winning the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903, shared with her husband, Pierre Curie, and Antoine-Henri Becquerel, for their research on radioactivity. This award marked a turning point for women in science, granting her unprecedented international recognition. 2. She discovered the elements polonium and radium. In 1898, Marie and Pierre Curie succeeded in isolating two new elements, polonium, named in honor of her homeland, Poland, which at the time did not exist as an independent nation, and radium. Her discovery of radium was especially revolutionary due to its intense radioactivity, surpassing any other known element. 3. She coined the term radioactivity. Marie Curie was the first to use the term radioactivity to describe the emission of particles or energy from certain atoms. This fundamental concept forever changed our understanding of physics and chemistry, opening doors to fields such as nuclear energy and radiological medicine. 4. She was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes. In 1911, 8 years after receiving her first Nobel, Marie Curie won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her work in isolating radium and studying the chemical properties of radioactive elements. This unique achievement made her the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different scientific disciplines. 5. She worked under extreme conditions. Marie Curie's work was not conducted in sophisticated laboratories. Her experiments took place in a makeshift shed with no heating or proper ventilation, where she spent hours handling radioactive materials. The conditions were extremely dangerous, yet she persevered, driven by her passion for science. 6. She never patented her discoveries. Despite the commercial value of radium, Marie Curie refused to patent the process for isolating it. This decision allowed other scientists to research and develop applications based on her work without restrictions, demonstrating her commitment to advancing scientific knowledge over personal profit. 7. She introduced X-rays to military medicine. During World War I, Marie Curie adapted her scientific knowledge to assist on the battlefield. She designed and supervised the installation of mobile X-ray units, known as little Curies, which allowed doctors to diagnose fractures and internal injuries in soldiers, saving thousands of lives. 8. Her legacy inspired her family to continue in science. Her daughter, Irene Joliot-Curie, followed in her footsteps and won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1935, along with her husband, for their discovery of artificial radioactivity. The Curie family is one of the few in history with multiple Nobel laureates. 9. She overcame enormous obstacles as a woman in science. Marie Curie was born in an era when women faced educational restrictions. Although she was an exceptional student, she could not attend universities in Poland due to her gender. Therefore, she emigrated to France and worked tirelessly to achieve her goals in a hostile environment. 10. She was the first female professor at the Sorbonne. In 1906, after the tragic death of Pierre Curie, Marie took his position as a professor at the University of Paris, becoming the first woman to teach there. This achievement solidified her role as a trailblazer for women in higher education. 11. She transformed modern medicine. Marie Curie's work not only benefited physics and chemistry but also laid the foundation for radiotherapy, a revolutionary treatment for cancer. Her discovery of radium paved the way for the use of radiation in medical therapies. 12. She worked tirelessly. Marie Curie dedicated endless hours to her research, often neglecting her health. This intense pace of work, combined with constant exposure to radioactive materials, eventually took a toll on her physical well-being. 13. Her notebooks are still radioactive. The constant exposure to radiation during her research left a lasting mark, even on her tools. Marie Curie's laboratory notebooks are still so radioactive that they are stored in lead-lined boxes and can only be handled with extreme precautions. 14. She loved teaching and promoting scientific education. In addition to being a passionate researcher, Marie Curie dedicated much of her life to teaching and mentoring new scientists. She always championed the importance of scientific education for both men and women. 15. She faced discrimination for being a woman and a foreigner. Despite her achievements, she constantly faced prejudice in the scientific community. Even after winning her second Nobel Prize, she was excluded from the French Academy of Sciences because of her gender and nationality. 16. She founded the Radium Institute. In 1914, Marie Curie established the Radium Institute in Paris, which became a world-leading research center in the study of radioactivity. This institute remains a significant part of her legacy. 17. She was a pioneer for gender equality. Marie Curie broke barriers in an era when women were considered intellectually inferior to men. Her example proved that talent and dedication have no gender. 18. She was a self-taught scientist. Due to educational restrictions in Poland, much of her early training was self-taught. She studied physics and mathematics independently while working as a governess to support herself financially. 19. She was buried in the Pantheon in Paris. In 1995, Marie Curie's remains were transferred to the Pantheon in Paris, the mausoleum of France's great heroes. She was the first woman to be honored there for her scientific achievements. 20. Her life was a sacrifice for science. Marie Curie died in 1934 from aplastic anemia, caused by her constant exposure to radiation. Her life, marked by sacrifice and absolute dedication, left an unparalleled legacy in the history of science. Final reflection. Marie Curie not only changed the world with her discoveries but also challenged the social and scientific norms of her time. Her story reminds us of the power of knowledge, perseverance, and passion, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire generations of scientists and advocates for gender equality.